Next video. Which country has the worst manners? Etiquette expert answers questions. We've seen this guy before talk about etiquette. It's really fascinating. If you remember, he showed how you're supposed to properly eat peas, and he stabbed them with a fork, which I thought was interesting because I always thought you would eat in peas with a spoon.
If you saw the late Queen eat a burger, all of a sudden she is not the late Queen, because the Queen does not eat burgers. I'm sure the Queen did eat a burger in private.
Why does the Queen not eat burgers? Is that like a rule? Because it's like commoner food.
What do you think the Queen's McDonald's order would have been?
Oh, she was...
The Queen of England probably would have gotten a fish fillet. Filet of fish, rather.
Anyone's for a fillet of fish. She was. She did. Hello, I'm William Hanson. I'm an etiquette coach, and today I'm answering questions from the Honesty Box.
It's not a pre-watch, bro. That's a honestly, that's me stereotyping British people. Like, what? What would the late old Queen of England get at McDonald's? Probably a fish sandwich.
Should you tell someone if they have bad manners? This is the politeness paradox. It is technically bad manners to point out people's bad manners themselves. Makes my job one of the rudest jobs going. But
Dude, pointing out bad manners would be so lame. It depends how bad of manners somebody has. Like this, I'm pointing out. You know, imagine you're having a conversation with me at dinner. Yeah, so you know, I don't know. I just kind of hold up. You just coughing into the air, something like that. You know, that's disgusting. That's not even bad manners. That's just like you're spreading illnesses, you know. Cough into your elbow, your shoulder. It's only okay for kids. Bro, even a kid coughing, dude, just like straight, like one of those, like, cover your fucking mouth. Like that, I would say something about that. But if it's like, oh, they have their elbows on the table or they're fucking cutting a steak wrong, I'm not saying shit.
I think it's better to lead by example rather than to actually tell them off. And if you are going to sort of correct them, it should be done in a very gentle, compassionate way.
Perfect answer. When you're done, just chuck it on the ground.
Can I place them there?
How politely can you chuck it away?
How should you hold a knife and fork? Great question.
Yo, I used to hold my fucking knives and forks like a caveman. Where's like an object? I used to use a fork like you're supposed, like, okay, if I'm cutting a steak, you know, and then I think you're supposed to switch hands, right? Aren't you supposed to put it down and switch hands and then eat it? That's stupid as fuck. Cut it, eat. Cut it, eat. There's been times where I'm so lazy that I will cut it, stab it with the knife, eat it. But when I was a kid, I used to hold a spoon like this. Like if this was the spoon. Like I used to eat cereal and I would just hold the spoon or a fork and I would stab shit like this. Like a caveman. You've told us that already? Oh yeah, sorry, I mentioned that 2 years ago and you remember that. I can't repeat myself ever. The holidays are here. And the sports are kicking up, whether it be the NHL, the College Football Bowl, the NFL games, or anything of those sorts. Sports are bigger than ever. And what a better way to spice up the holiday games than with DraftKings Sportsbook. The sponsor of today's video. New DraftKings customers signing up with promo code JOEB can place a $5 bet and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I'm a big parlay guy. Love a 3-pick parlay. Talk about it on stream all the time. It doesn't mean you need to be. You know, the crown's yours. That's DraftKings slogan. You know, you can, bet on whatever sport you want to. In whichever way you want to. That's why the crown's yours. Anyways, and if DraftKings Sportsbook isn't yet available in your state, you could still take part in DraftKings Fantasy. So sign up for DraftKings today. Link in description. Download the app. Use promo code JOEB at sign up. Place a $5 bet, and if your bet hits, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring this video. And let's get back into it.
Well, look what's in the honesty box for me already. Some very expensive looking cutlery. So conventionally, the fork was held in the left hand and the knife was held in the right hand. But this goes back to a right hand bias when you were not allowed to use your left hand.
Oh my God, do left-handed people hold it the opposite way? Anybody that's left-handed in chat, do you hold the fork with your left hand or no?
To write or to carry your knife, and that's not necessarily just a table knife, that was your sword as well. So there was very much a bias on the right hand. Today, it is if you are left-handed, all God's creatures, it's absolutely fine, they're all amongst us. You can just switch the cutlery. You still hold it in exactly the same way, and that is with your index finger going down the shaft of the fork, stopping just before the bridge, and your finger going down the shaft of the knife, stopping where the blade...
Why does this shit matter? Who's fucking watching that? Like, I'm not going to a restaurant just fucking like, ooh, the index finger's a little too far up the neck of that fork there, buddy. That's not common etiquette.
And the handle meet. So whether you're eating in a left-handed way or in a more conventional right-handed way, this is how you hold a knife and fork. And we want the handles of the cutlery tucked into the palm of your hand. We don't want them sticking out like so. And ideally, try not to hold a knife like a pen because you won't have as much control of what you're cutting. And that's when you get petit pois flying off onto your neighbour's lap. And nobody wants that. How do you say scone? Scone. Do you want any more on that?
Why do people say it's scone and think scone is posher?
I think people say scone because they think it sounds posher, like bone or cone. But no, it's scone. Although there is an argument.
Oh my God, who cares? Who cares? What is a scone? I don't even know what a scone is. Is that like a pastry? Is that some shit that people eat for breakfast? What is a scone? Scone. A scone. It's a traditional British food. This is a scone. It looks weird. It looks like a fucking cookie, but like a biscuit cookie. Okay. It has like cream cheese or some shit on it. Ew. I mean, it didn't look bad. It didn't look good, but...
They do come sort of have origins at the Palace of Scone in Scotland, so there is an argument that nobody is correct, and we should say scoons. But you sound like a loon if you say that. So, no, it's scone, because once it's scone, it's gone. Why are elbows on the table rude? So, yeah, I mean, if it's a dining table, it's actually very hard to eat with your...
Nope, I disagree. I will stand on the elbows on the table being perfectly normal and good. It's casual conversation. If I'm having a conversation, I'm probably crossing my arms and I'm putting both of my elbows on the table. At a restaurant, at a fancy restaurant, I'll sit like this. I don't give a fuck. Because this isn't the 16th century. I'm pretty sure historically the elbows on the table rule was a thing because they used to have wide tables that they would like lay on top of like pedestals or something. And if you put your elbows on the table, it would flip the table. So it was like, it wasn't even etiquette. It was just like, hey, if you put your elbows on the table, you're going to fucking knock everything off. But that's not a thing anymore. So it's like, who cares? You know? If there's no room on the table to put your elbows, all right, fine, don't put your elbows on the table. But it's like, most restaurants, you have more than enough space.
Elbows on the table. But towards the end of a meal is normally when you see people doing it, particularly if it's a dinner and they're getting a bit tired and they need a bit of support. Historically, why we don't do that is because the dining tables that we used to dine from in the medieval period were, they weren't secure tables like this. They were benches.
Hey, I know history.
With sheets of wood put on top of them. And the food was served completely differently from how it would be served now. And it was sort of put down almost like a big buffet down the middle of the table for balance and to secure it. So if you then started putting weight on another part of the table, you would tip the tables, and thus it was bad manners for you to put your elbows on the table.
But I wouldn't even say that's bad manners. Like, manners is like this, like, posh, like richy rich way of conducting yourself at a formal dinner. You know, how you're supposed to it's very small things you're supposed to do to impress and not upset other people at the dining table. Fuck that, right? Just don't be an asshole. Like, it's just, I feel like it's very simple.
Doesn't really have anything to...
Don't blow your nose. I blow my nose at the table sometimes. That's bad manners. Bro, but if I gotta blow my nose, that pisses me off. If I gotta blow my nose, I don't want to have to get up, go to the bathroom, blow my nose, come back. It's gross. What if I'm eating hot wings? And see that now I'm in a fucking hold up. I'm gonna get real fucking angry about this because I've had people get mad at me that I've blown my nose at a fucking table before in my family, and I've got not mad, but they're like, you shouldn't do that. Yo, if I'm eating buffalo wings, my hands are covered in shit, my mouth is covered in shit, my nose is running because the wings have a lot of vinegar and are spicy. Let me get up and go to the bathroom. I'm already disgusting, right? I'm already covered in filth. You know, what?
To do with etiquette. It was more sort of safety of the food and ensuring that you had food. And we're now sort of 500 plus years later so ingrained that we just don't put our elbows on the table. We sort of equate it to looking bad. It does look bad, but historically it had nothing to do with looking bad. It was just to do with the food. Should you always say bless you? Not so much anymore.
The old predicament when somebody sneezes multiple times in a row. I've gotten to know there's a type of person that sneezes multiple times in a row. I'm a one sneeze and I'm good. Bless you. Thank you. You have a friend. Sneeze, 4 times, sneeze. And then you say it once. Right, but it is really awkward when you're like, sneeze, bless you. They sneeze again, bless you. They sneeze again, bless you. You see him winding up for the 4th one. Don't you fucking sneeze.
Or there is an argument for not
I can't do more than 3.
saying it. It goes back to sort of saying, you would say bless you to someone else because in the medieval times they had the bubonic plague or might have had the bubonic plague. And so you were saying bless you as their...
Wait, that was where it started, was the bubonic plague? I knew you said bless you because it was like, oh, you might be getting sick. And getting sick in the olden times meant you were probably going to fucking die. I didn't know it was during the plague times.
Soul left their body as they were on their way to whatever comes next. Hopefully, touch wood, we're all okay now, so there's no need to say that. But I think, again, it's like the elbows on the table thing. It's a hangover.
Knocking on wood is also based in, like, spiritual origin. I know that. Like, when you knock on wood, that's based off some sort of either religion or, like, spiritual belief that, like, trees had something in them that would prevent, like, evil spirits.
So it probably is better to say bless you.
I knock on wood all the time. That's like one superstition that I say bless you when people sneeze and I knock on wood.
Sort of stare at them.
Knock on wood, question mark? Yeah. Like if you're like, the Eagles are going to win this Super Bowl, knock on wood. Like you're making a claim of something that will happen and you're confident of it, and so you don't want to jinx it, so you knock on wood. Or you're talking about something that you don't want to happen, and then you knock on wood because you don't want it to happen, you know?
As they say, nothing. There is
never heard of that in my life. What? You've never heard of knock on wood? That's like, dude, I feel like you hear that every other day. Do you live in a cave?
Societal expectation that you say bless you. Should you raise your pinky when drinking tea?
Oh, God.
Lovely.
Damn it, dude. These questions are pissing me off.
Question. And again, out of my box comes a nice cup and saucer from the nearest charity shop. So, in terms of extending your little finger, it's a bit sort of Disney Hollywood to think that you do this and that posh people do this. You don't. You keep that finger tucked in. How we hold a teacup is by pinching with the thumb and the index finger between the handle.
I don't think I've ever used a teacup in my fucking life, bro. I'm drinking tea out of a fucking coffee mug. That's what I'm going to do.
And the rest of our fingers follow the shape of the handle, and we keep our elbow nice and tucked in. The sticking the little finger thing comes from a couple of origins for it, but the one I like to say is supposedly in the court of Louis XIV and XV, where tea drinking was at its peak. It had just come in. It was very heavily taxed, so it was only the royal family in France. And
you heard of throwing salt over your shoulder as a superstition. Yeah, but that's only if you spill salt. I'll do that. And that's really annoying when you spill. I spill salt when I'm cooking, and then you're in your own fucking kitchen, and then I'm sitting here going, I just dump salt on the floor. But it's like I have to. You know, it's easier when you're at a restaurant. You knock over the salt shaker, you're like, you know, you don't got to clean it up. It's whatever. Now you're in your own fucking abode. You got to fucking toss salt on the floor. It sucks.
Ouch. Not realizing that actually...
I am going to skip the fucking pinky tea one because I don't give a shit about that.
Should men pay on the first date?
You should offer. Chivalrous. I think a lot of people Chat, should men pay on the first date? I think a lot of people, like, with, like, male and female equality, like, some guy, there's, like, a type of guy that'll be like, well, why do I have to pay on the first date then? Why don't you pay? Why don't you pay? Why don't you split? Because it's still chivalrous, right? Just because you want men and women to be equal doesn't mean you shouldn't be nice. Like, it's the chivalrous thing to do. It's a nice thing to do as a guy to be like, yo, can I pay on the first date? You know, like, let me pay, you know? Or splitting's fine. Like, it depends on the couple. You know, you arrange that with your girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever you're with, you know? You figure that the fuck out. But it's like first date and you're a guy, offer to pay.
So I would say the one...
What do gay men do? Split? Mask pays? Is that real? Is that real? No way. There's no way.
One of the biggest areas of change with etiquette is around dating. And I would say...
Any gay chatters know what happens? Like, what do you do? Ask ChatGPT. Yeah, for gay men that go on dates, why would I fucking ask ChatGPT that?
Whoever
when there's probably gay people in my chat that could just answer the question for me. I'm a lesbian. All right, well, what do lesbians do?
initiated the date should pay.
I'm not trying to sound like a dumbass. I'm actually asking because I don't know. Like, I want to know. Like, who pays? You don't always split. There's no... And maybe it's just, like, you both offer to pay. Somebody just ends up paying. It's just situational.
So if I asked somebody out on a date, other than my husband being slightly alarmed that I've done that, but if I asked someone out on a date, I would pay. If they asked me out on a date, they would pay.
Oh, my God. That's so... Wow, that solves everything. See, this is why we watch this guy. He fucking knows everything. The person that asks the other on the date should be the one to pay. I think that makes sense in general. And it's usually the guy that asks the girl out on the date. Whoever's the one that's like, hey, you want to go on a date? Yeah, no, that's valid. Because that is lame as hell if you ask somebody out on a date and then expect them to pay. That's weird. That's really weird. You go, hey, I just said that. Yeah, well, Zod, I kind of like filter out your chats mentally.
Can you split the bill? Maybe if the date had gone badly and you think there's absolutely not a hope in hell of us ever meeting again.
Date went badly, you go to the bathroom and just jump out the window and leave.
However, some people say they'd much rather split the bill even if it's the most phenomenal date and then everyone just pays, you know, half. It's fine. As long as you talk to one another and everyone's happy with whatever arrangement, it doesn't really bother me.
What else has changed in dating?
The Georgians had a lovely idea, which I do think we could bring back, called the bundling board, which is where you were allowed to, once a couple had become engaged, they were allowed to spend the night together, but not to, you know, see if, you know, they were compatible in that way, but just to sort of
fucking
see, did they snore, for example. And so a wooden board was put down the middle of the bed, and it was always in the bride-to-be's family house. The family would wait up to hear if there are any untoward noise.
Wait, what? So it, like, when they were engaged, they would sleep together to see if they hated, not sleep like fuck, they would sleep like sleep to see if they couldn't, like, lay in bed together?
Noises going on upstairs, and you would just sort of spend the night together just to see, you know, did they pass wind? Were they pleasant to share a bed with? And I think we all need to bring that back. Worst thing to eat while following proper etiquette.
Bro, I'm ripping ass 5 times a night. Yeah, just say fart. Yeah, passing wind. Rip ass. Are they farting? Yeah. What does Brooke say? Dude, there's sometimes where I'll eat, like, if I eat a lot of, like, broccoli or asparagus, my farts will smell so bad, and it's so funny. She'll get, like, really upset sometimes, but it's so funny. I'll rip ass, and it'll be like a silent one. And, you know, 10 seconds go by, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, trying to, you know, keep my composure. And then randomly she'll go, oh, and then fucking get up. Oh, and then stand up. Silent but deadly. Yeah, no, the loud ones are usually normal.
Well, burgers are pretty, while following proper etiquette.
Worst thing to eat while following proper etiquette. Chicken wings. No, ribs. Ribs. What's the worst food to eat? Crabs. No, it's not ribs, not chicken wings, crabs. Going to a fucking, getting a bib and fucking trying to fucking, you know, peel out the meat and dunk it in butter. Your hands are covered in shit. It's not hard. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying it's disgusting.
Etiquette. Well, burgers are pretty sort of messy. I mean, sort of restaurant burgers, where they are so big, you are going to have to deconstruct the burger. I know I get into a lot of controversy online for doing that. I think possibly my Esther.
Well, I'm not deconstructing a burger. If I ever see some shit where if they tell me the weight of the burger on the menu, don't order it. Don't order it. That's the Joe Bart rule of thumb. If they tell you the weight of the patty, they're about to wheel that bitch out. The bottom bun's going to be sopping wet, and it's going to be that thick of a fucking burger. Like they just took a packet of ground beef and went, and then plopped it. The fucking guy on coke in the back that's cooking that shit up mushed it, fucking just wedged it on there. You're at some diner. Fuck that.
America has been terminated, but it is better just to sort of...
That's the best. You like that? Chat, thin or thick burgers? Thin, smash burger, or not even a smash burger. Just like, I think like this thin or thinner. If the burger's that thick, like half pound, yuck. You can't make that taste good.
Construct it and cut and eat it with a knife.
Just stack multiple thin burgers. Just get 3 thin burgers.
And fork. Yes, they're delicious if that's your thing and you want to eat a burger, whether it's beef, chicken, or a veggie burger. However, it is a burger at the end of the day. And if you're trying to present a certain type of image to either the person you're on a date with, a colleague, a future employer, an ambassador, you know, whoever it is, don't order the burger. If you saw the late Queen eat a burger, all of a sudden she is not the late Queen because the Queen does not eat burgers. I'm sure the Queen did eat a burger in private, but in public you have your public and private image, and actually sometimes you need to not necessarily order the thing that you want to. Go back the next day and have the burger when you're not around other people if you desperately want it.
What do you think the Queen's McDonald's order would have been? A secret McDonald's order?
Oh, she was anyone's for a fillet of fish. She was. She did.
Filet-O-fish.
Is it okay to ask for seconds? No. If it is offered, if you come to my house and there is leftover
Who the fuck asks for seconds?
lasagna or something, I would say, would anyone like any more? That is fine. But if you can see some lasagna on the side...
Me? I don't think I've ever asked for seconds. I don't think it's rude. Usually you're just offered. Any situation where you want seconds, it's probably like a buffet style, no? Like if you're at a family dinner, they probably have more food than you need, at least in the US. From how I understand US family dinners, there's always more food made than needed. And so you could just grab what you want. You make your own plate. Versus like dinner actually... Do you guys have dinners where you're actually served? Like where they pre-make the plate for you?
And it hasn't been
No.
offered. Unfortunately, as a
No.
guest, you can't say anything. And maybe that's because the host is thinking, good, well, that'll do my lunch tomorrow. So I don't need to offer. Or maybe there's only one portion and there are 6 guests. And actually...
Thanksgiving? That's the one holiday where you're definitely just making your own shit. What? Thanksgiving? Your family makes pre-made plates? I would hate that. I would fucking hate that. There's too many things. I don't want somebody to choose for me. You know, I want to grab 3 rolls, lot of bread. Getting a lot of bread because I'm not a big fan of the Thanksgiving meal. 2 pieces of turkey, some sweet potatoes, some mac, you know, other shit. And then you have like that one family member that's just munching down like broccoli. Not broccoli, something vegetable wise, just munching it and be like, oh, could I have more of that? Yeah, by all means, buddy, you could have a whole fucking plate. Yeah, somebody bought peas, like mashed peas.
Someone's going to, well, quite a lot, 5 people could potentially get left out. So no, if it's not offered, don't ask for it. Do you break the rules when you're alone?
Don't care.
Leave a word.
You're trying to boring as I point now. Where a little bit of was a fun. Swear. Is it ever okay to fucking swear? No, it fucking isn't. Let's be honest.
I'm cursing in casual conversation. At a dinner. At any dinner. The only time I will refrain from cursing is like when in class. Like when I was in college or high school, like I wouldn't curse. Not around my grandparents, I'm cursing. I'm cursing around the grandparents. Don't care. I curse in college. It depends on the professor. You know, most professors don't care. But you would curse in casual conversation in college. You're not like asking the teacher a question and be like, what do you think about this fucking thing? No, you just have a regular ass conversation curse. But like, that's different.
Yes.
I don't around my family. I mean, I don't know. Maybe certain family members I wouldn't curse around. But I don't know, man. I'm like 23 now. I'm like, if I'm really in a situation where I'm not allowed to curse, bro, that's like lame as hell.
People swear.
That's lame as hell.
I think if you swear all the time, again, it loses its currency.
Your mom? Yeah. What am I, 5? Yo, what? You don't curse around your mom? Yo, I am even around kids. No, if I'm like in a public setting, I'm not going to be like sailor mouth, you know, just ripping curse words. But in like a casual conversation, I'd still be like, yeah, that's fucking stupid.
If you're a Gordon Ramsay and you're swearing like,
around my mom, though, yeah, I'm cursing.
It's almost been...
Dude, I remember the first time, I keep pausing. I remember the first time I cursed out loud. I stubbed my toe outside and I bent down and I went, shit. And I looked around. It's in 3rd grade. I started casually cursing in like 4th grade, which might be early, but I was just I remember I thought it was cool too. I was in 3rd grade. I was like, every once in a while, I'd be like, fuck. Be like, that's badass.
Expected. And I think we tune it out. We don't hear it, which is unfortunate. If I swear in front of friends, they probably know that I'm probably quite irked because I don't necessarily swear an awful lot. Or if
Drunk.
I do swear, I'm sort of swearing for comedy effect. If you're swearing, and I'm thinking certain words, normally beginning with C, that people use a lot, and they sort of think it's funny. It's like, it's not that funny that often, to be perfectly honest. So use it sparingly. Is it more polite to be early or late? Well,
is it more polite to be early or late? Early. But I think being too early is weird. It's the vibe. Here, okay. An event early. You know, you got to be at a place of business, work, whatever, early. Your friend invites you over to their house. You know, come at 8. Don't show up at 7:50. That's weird. That's weird. I say that. If I tell you, hey, be here at 8, show up at 8:15. Don't show up at 8. That's weird. No, seriously. Because if it's like somewhere where if you're like, hey, we're going to be going somewhere, show up a little early on time, late's rude. But if it's like you're getting invited to like a dinner at someone's house, show up on time, if not 10 minutes late. Yeah, fashionably late. Not too late, but don't show up early.
It depends on context.
I'm always early. Bro, it's so awkward. You know it is too. Have you ever been the first person to show up at a friend's house at a gathering? It sucks. It sucks. You never want to be the first guy. If you're the first, I just sit in my car, that's the move. You sit in your car while somebody else shows up and then there's more than 2 people. I think it's different. Maybe, okay, I'm just saying this is a guy thing, at least. If it's a guy hangout and there's like 8 guys, being the first guy to show up, it's like, you know, it's now we're like a duo. It's not really a hangout. You know, you want to be like 3 people more. So it's just you and him. Now you're just talking, you know. I'm sitting here acting like that's not what would regularly happen anyway.
Text. Socially, if I said to someone, come for dinner at 7:30, what I do not want is people to be early. I would much rather someone was half an hour late than 5.
Yo!
Not want is people to be early.
Wait.
I would to someone, come for dinner at 7:30. What I do not want is people to be early.
Yeah. Because you don't want to tell them. You tell them a time knowing they'll be like 15 minutes late, and that gives you that leeway to be like, oh, fuck, I forgot to do this. I got to get this done real quick.
I would much rather someone was half an hour late than 5 minutes early. I'm probably not ready at 7:25, but I will be ready from 7:30. For a business meeting, however, if it says it starts at 11, It means
Maybe I am very proper. Huh.
starts at 11, not you rock up at 11, go to the loo, log onto the Wi-Fi, get a tea and coffee, ready, and then sort of by about 10,
yeah, like a meeting, bro. Pull up 10 minutes early.
10 past 11, you're ready to start. So there you arrive a little bit early, ready to start at the time the meeting says. What do you do if you forget someone's name? I forget.
Never figured this one out. I'll never know. I'll never know. I just ask. No, there's a point where it's too late. You have the first day. It's like the first hour you meet somebody, you could re-ask their name. Sometimes I'm too distracted. And then it's like 8 hours hanging out with them. I don't remember their name at all. I don't remember their name. Maybe it was Mark. Maybe James. Maybe Jared or Michael. I can't really remember, but it's like, fuck. Ask a friend. That's usually the play. The mutual friend that you met, you go, what's that guy's name? But there's certain times where you can't do that.
Hating people's names. I try to.
Like gyms, like at the gym. There's people I interact with at the gym, and I don't know their name, but they know mine, and I've known them for like a year. I can't, dude, it's well past me being able to ask for their name. Well past. Like that, how rude that would be. Hey, I know I've seen you like 50 times. I don't know your name.
Keep lists of names, particularly for restaurant or places I go. But if you do forget, particularly at a party, something you'll...
Say, how do you spell their name? Oh, yeah. Linux. You go up to, hey, how do you spell your name? How do I spell Mark? Really? How do I spell Todd? That's a bad play. You're assuming that they have a complicated name, If they're a guy, realistically, if they're like a random guy, they probably have like a very simple name. Ask for their Instagram. Then they go, oh, it's just my name. I've had this happen. Be like, oh, you type it in. You got to ask them to type it in.
Very good friend Bob comes over to say hello to you. You have to introduce Bob.
Ask for their Snap. Yeah, and then it's the Snap username they had when they were in 3rd grade, and it's Fluffy Banana 83. It's not even their fucking name.
And the person whose name you have forgotten, you can do one of several things. You can either go, I assume you two have met. And then hopefully they go, no, we haven't. Hello, I'm Bob. Hello, I'm Steve. And it's fine. Or you do the introduction. You go, Bob, I'd like you to meet. And you go, I'm so sorry. Please remind me of your name. Steve. No, Steve, I know your first name. I meant your last name. Jones. Steve Jones may introduce Bob Smith. And you do it that way round. It's a complete bluff. Steve might clock to what you're doing. But again, he doesn't have to flag that he knows what was happening there. What are the best biscuits for dipping?
Oh, who gives a fuck?
How has social media impacted etiquette?
What are the best biscuits for dipping? That's a dumb question.
Big time. Etiquette has to reflect and adapt to the society that is around us. Otherwise, etiquette would not exist. And it's a shapeshifter. It constantly changes. And social media is such a big part of our lives. And etiquette is about interacting with other people. And how a lot of us interact with other people now is via using social media. I guess the thing that's springing to mind is the comment section, of which on this very video there is a comment section. And I'm saying this with love. Just because you can comment doesn't mean to say you should. They're not going to want me to say that because we want engagement. But if you've got something worthwhile to say it. But
oh, wow. Meanwhile, there's some of my chatters.
Don't say anything. If you...
Hi. Hello. Penis. Just typing random words. We're in sub only right now, too. Let's unleash the goblins right now. See what they type. I'm free! And they just start fucking losing their minds. 6-7. 6-7.
You don't have anything worthwhile to say. Don't feel you need to. We don't have to have an opinion on everything. Be very boring. Should you wear shoes inside? So in some cultures, absolutely not. In Japan, for example, they're very big on removing shoes.
I think if you wear shoes inside, that's up to the house owner, or the homeowner, the apartment owner, whatever it is. It's their rule. If I see shoes at the door, I'm usually taking my shoes off. I don't like to. I've said this before. I'll say it again. We're going back in subtly. I said it before. I'm saying it again. I think that taking your shoes off inside is fucking pointless, right? I would rather keep them on. I'm not going to be, rude and refuse to take my shoes off, though. Like, if somebody is like, hey, shoes off, I'm not going to be like, oh, can't do. That's a no-go for me. I'll probably take them off if I even think that it's a shoes off place.
You go into someone's house. I don't
What if they're dirty? Yo, what am I, walking in fucking poop? What do you mean dirty? What are your fucking shoes covered in, man?
love taking
Mud? Like, yeah, there's dirt on the bottom of your shoes, like little specks, man.
off shoes when I go to someone's house, unless, of course, I've walked through a field. They're caked in mud. They are very dirty. If hosts are that worried about their carpets, their floors getting dirty, just don't invite people round. Go out to a restaurant or something. However, their house, their rule.
That's crazy he's having this take.
So if a host does want you to take off the shoes, it would be very churlish to sort of refuse to do that. If you
Very
are one of the
churlish.
sort of the shoes off brigade and you want your friends and family to take off their shoes, make sure there is something, for them to sit on to remove their shoes. It might be fine for a 20-year-old to sort of whip off their shoe whilst looking like a flamingo standing on one leg. But actually,
Oh, yeah, no. I feel like age is going to play a factor, too. It's a bit fucked up to be like, to an 85-year-old, like, grandma, it's a shoes-off household. They're wearing, like, they're using a cane to move. Yeah, sorry, you're gonna need to take those off. Like, that's fucked. Yeah, no, if you're old, it's like, but that's also just like, I think old people could kind of do whatever the fuck they want.
an older generation might want a small puff or something to sit on. So make sure you've got one of those handy. Are Irish exits okay? No.
Love an Irish goodbye. Love an Irish goodbye. I hate when people do it to me, but dude, just leaving. just fucking leave. What? An Irish goodbye is when you just leave. Don't tell anybody you're leaving. Just walk out. Honestly, you also usually leave when nobody notices you're leaving. Be like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom real quick. Take a piss. Nobody's around near the front door. Just walk out. just fucking. You tell the host. If you're at like a party, like that's usually what it'll be. Like if I have people over, so you ghost them. Well, no. Like you would tell dude. It's like say you're at a party. There's like 20 people around. I don't want to say bye to everybody, and then it's really weird, and you're like, all right, I'm leaving. And then everybody goes and looks at you. Just fucking walk up to the person and be like, I'm leaving. Anybody in the area you say bye to, and then you just fuck off.
Not really. I mean, the only time, I think I did one once where it was at a wedding and the couple were so paralytic. I thought even if I do say goodbye to them, there's not a hope in hell they're going to remember it. So I did just go, and my taxi had arrived and had sort of been waiting.
They were that fucked up at their own wedding?
Sufficiently long enough that I was going to start getting charged. But no, generally you do at least need to say goodbye to one, if not both of the hosts, whatever you are at. Isn't life a bit short to be worrying about these things?
Unless you're at a bar. But that's a little sketchy. If you're at a bar and you just leave, like normally my friends would tell me they're leaving if they're at a bar. Because if somebody just left, I'd be like, are they like drunk driving home? I'd be like, because usually you kind of Uber like with other people. Yeah, at a bar, it's like you're kind of in a group.
You're missing the point.
What if they get kidnapped? Yeah. Well, I also think men Irish goodbye more than women. Because it's like, that'd be like unsafe. Like if a woman just disappeared out of a group, I think other women or men in that group would be worried. They'd be like, where did this person go?
I don't think life is too short to worry about other
people that Irish goodbye. It's usually like guys. Like my friend Jay will just leave. I'll just walk out.
people's feelings. I think life isn't long enough. Do Jen's...
Or he'll walk, dude, if I'm the host, he'll be like, I'm Irish goodbying. So it's like, it's not really an Irish goodbye, but he's only telling me that he's leaving. That's where you tell the host. You tell the host, you're like, I'm leaving. And then you just walk out.
Z have no etiquette.
Do Gen Z have no etiquette? Chat, would you guys say you have etiquette?
I actually think Gen Z are probably more aware of how their actions impact others than generations above them. Certainly from my own experience, when I have had millennials come up to say hi to me in the street, and I am a millennial.
He went millennials.
They're quite entitled. They sort of feel as if you have to stop and talk to them, and it's sort of their right that you do that. Whereas all the Gen Z people are so cautious. They're conscious if I'm chatting to somebody already in the street, they will wait until I finish my conversation. They will come over and say, oh, I'm so sorry, would you mind if we just awfully sort of said hi or got a photo? So no, it's not all doom and gloom with Gen Z. Have you ever had...
Nah, I think that's person to person, bro. That's not generation shit. You know how many times I've ran into people that I haven't seen in a while at like a gas station, and they're like, oh, let me take this time to have a 20-minute conversation. And I'm like, bro, I gotta go. You know? If I see somebody I know, I'm just like, yo, what's up, bro? How you been? Good? Oh, awesome, bro. All right, I'll catch you. Like, fuck.
A pajama day? Yes, when I was ill in hospital. But other than that, I wear clothes.
Pajama day. Okay.
Thought you might dress up for the occasion, but there we go.
Start the car. Is lying okay to be polite? Oh, great.
Ooh. Yeah, like little white lies. Yeah. I think that's fine. Like if it's something like, does this look weird? No. You're indifferent. You know, it doesn't look weird, but it's like, you know, you kind of get what they're saying, but you just don't want to fucking have them like freak out and be like insecure about their outfit or something. No, it looks fine. Let's go.
Big question. Yeah, if it protects someone's
You're lying to Brooke? No.
feelings, then yes, I think it's okay to... A little white lie is fine. A small lie, nothing sort of massive. You know, that's a lovely shacket, for example. You could say, just riffing. What a lovely part of the world we're in. It's so quiet. You know, that would be fine if you want to sort of lie to protect
Why would you just randomly do that?
feelings.
Like you're just
but
yeah, I feel like a white lie is like somebody asks you a question and you respond with a lie to make them feel better.
I wouldn't... If it's a malicious lie, then that's when it's not.
Yeah.
Then it's not good. What is your pet peeve when it comes to etiquette? It's niche. Probably doesn't annoy many other people. When people say, you can't toast with water, it's unlucky. That was correct 500
Never heard that.
years ago, where the water was full of cholera. We're very fortunate to live in a society, certainly in Britain and most of the Western world, where the water is absolutely fine and is not full of bacteria. If you are Muslim, Hindu, a recovering alcoholic, pregnant, on very strong antibiotics, underage, or just don't want to drink that particular evening out of personal preference, what are you going to do? You can't suddenly just have a sip of wine to be polite. You can toast with any cold drink. I wouldn't toast with tea or coffee.
Oh, toast. I thought he said taste.
But water, it's absolutely fine. And so, again, it's niche, but it's when people try to sort of say that particular rule, not realising the origin of it. And for me, and I spend a lot of time trying to research where we get these rules from.
Yeah, no, I think that's fucked up to be like, no, you have to drink, especially if they're pregnant or an alcoholic. What? Now, I think there is something different, though, if your friend's like, if I'm out at a bar and everybody's drinking and I'm like, let's all get shots, and my friend's like, nah, I'll be like, come on, you know? Don't be lame. But if he says no again, I'll just be like, all right. Like, I'm not going to force him to drink. But I'll be like, nah, bro, come on. You're good for one, you know?
How we have ended up, that particularly annoys me because there's no logic behind it. And the rule has got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can get rid of it as a rule. Should you make your bed in an hotel?
No!
Well, depends on the type of hotel you're in. I would say... If you're paying for housekeeping or you've requested for housekeeping, then no, there's no need.
Why would you make your bed in a hotel?
You don't want to make your bed look like an absolute sort of bombs hit it before you go out for the day and put the please make up my room sign.
Oh my God, I don't think it cares, bro. If I'm at going to a hotel is like shit scattered everywhere. I'm living out of the suitcase. I just have stuff and trash in a corner. Clothes are on the ground. It's like a pigsty, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck, right? Because I'm only there for like 2 days.
On the door, but you don't need to do it yourself because that's part of what you're paying for. You don't get a reduction in your room rate. So, no, you don't need to make your bed. Just tidy up nicely. How should you get the waiter's attention? None of this. All that.
I kind of just stare at them until they glance my way. like this. And then they walk towards me. I wave at them. Oh, that's rude. Yoo-hoo! You fucking wave them over. Hello. Get them to walk over.
No, oi.
No, you just stare at them.
Don't need to shout. It's simply done with...
Ooh, I have done the check. If they're far and we want to leave, I go, if they look at me, so they don't need to walk over. You know, you do that. Little pen, bring it over.
Body language. So you sort of sit up and back, eye contact, hand at the level of your eye is absolutely fine. And if they're well trained, they should come over. The main differences between the USA and Britain in terms of manners. Well, it's not all doom and gloom in America with American manners. And I think there's a lot that Brits can learn from Americans about general sort of interpersonal skills in particular. I think in America, the default setting, if an American meets a new person, is that we like you until you annoy us. Whereas in Britain, our default setting is we're a little bit suspicious of you until we get to know you. And then we warm up. Whereas in America, it's so full on, and then potentially peters off when they get to know you and think you're a bit of a twit. But I think it's probably better.
Wow, I kind of like the British thing better. You know, a little more hostile, warm up to somebody, now you fuck with them, you support them, versus like, I mean, that's just like fake. I think he's describing somebody being fake. Like somebody fucking with you and then something happens and now they don't fuck with you. Versus like, you know, I don't know you yet. Oh, now I like you. Now I'm riding with you.
To just sort of start seeing the positive in people than be a little bit suspicious and wary, which we are in Britain. And maybe that's because we're a small island nation and they're not. I don't know. What is posh? It's a great question. I mean, for a start,
rich.
You wouldn't really seriously use the word posh if you were posh. We like the term upmarket, which is a bit nicer, or smart. They're a smart couple is better. Posh is a bit naff as a word.
Joey, this guy's speaking another language.
Unless you're using it ironically. But actually, certainly in Britain, what posh doesn't necessarily mean, is not linked to money. It is a state of mind, and actually in Britain, the truly smartest people aren't as fussed about material possessions.
Where does posh come from?
Some people think that Port out starve at home is the origin of posh, and that was supposedly because of...
What does posh mean? What does posh mean? Bro, posh definition. Elegant, stylishly luxurious. In a refined or upper class manner. Rich. Posh. Fancy rich.
Type of cabin that you might have on a crossing.
Elegant. I'm not using elegant. Fancy rich people. Posh.
That's been debunked.
You're 15 with a Louis Vuitton bag. You're posh.
Numerous times, so it's got nothing to do with that. We don't quite
You're a rich kid.
know where the origin of posh comes from, but we all know what it means. Is it fine to play music aloud in public? No. Again, watching videos on your phone without headphones, playing music just because you're...
Yo, guys at the gym that don't have earbuds and play music out of their iPhone. You encounter one of those. Dude, it's always somebody over 35. It's a guy every time playing fucking music out of his fucking iPhone, bro. Sitting on a bench next to him that he's not using. Yo, corded earbuds are like $1, big dog. Fucking get him. What? And then he's playing that over the gym music, because gyms always have music. So it's the gym music, and the gym music's always some bullshit radio. You know, fucking some shit that would be on like Despicable Me. Because I'm happy, long, if you feel like happiness. Yeah, and then he's playing fucking, you know, Drake. And you're listening to something else. So now you're hearing three things at once. It's horrible.
Phones can doesn't mean to say you should. I want to come up with some sort of GoFundMe type thing where we all can carry around sort of, you can't get on public transport anywhere in the UK or indeed elsewhere. But we GoFundMe where everyone has at least 5 pairs of disposable, very cheap headphones that you can just sort of pass out to people and go, would you like these? And hopefully they get the message. That would be nice. Should you wear hats indoors? Oh, great question. No. I mean, so a gentleman Man's hat, such as a fedora, a Homburg, a baseball cap, they are all considered accessories. So you
A fedora? Yo, if I see somebody wearing a fedora, I think if I see anybody wearing a fedora anywhere, I'm going, yo, what the fuck? What the hell is that fashion choice? My lady, a fedora inside. Dude, the one hat that's badass that I think people wear is like that British cap. What is that called? This. Not this color, but this hat is fucking sick. I love this. If you wear that inside, who cares, bro? Yeah, flat cap, like some Peaky Blinders shit. Yeah, that's a sick-ass hat.
remove it when you come inside. The exception to that would be hotel lobbies or department stores or lifts, because you are transiting through them. But if you are walking into a restaurant, you're walking into a friend's house, for example, an office block, that type of hat comes off. If it is a sort of...
All right, but what if you're not wearing the hat? It's kind of just like resting on top of your head. Like if you're, you know, like a 25-year-old Chad, you know, and it just kind of sits on top of your head.
traditional lady's hat, and
You don't actually push the flat brim down.
talking like a hat you'd wear to a wedding or to Royal Ascot, that's often plumbed into the hair. It is considered part of the whole outfit, and so they may stay on. So it depends on what type of hat, but generally most...
So wearing it? No. Dude, that annoys me more than anything. What would that even be called? Where somebody wears a hat on their head, but they don't push it down? It's different if, like, your hair is just big, or you have, like, what is it called? Like, not 4C, but, like, thicker hair. But, like, guys that have my hair that just rest the hat on top of their head. Dude, their hat, like this. Like this. Oh, my God. I found an image. Hold up. Like, just resting on the head. It's not, like, hunkered down because they don't want to fuck up their hair. Like, it's different if you have thick hair and it's like, okay, that would actually just, like, mush your hair down. But, like, dude, just having the hat rest on top of the head.
Most hats
Backwards.
are outdoor. They're there to protect you from the sun. There's not a lot of sun indoors. Which country has the best manners in the world?
The title of the video.
Well, I want to probably say Japan. I think they're very respectful in Japan. They're probably the only country that make the British look relaxed. I think that's probably my take on Japan.
Etiquette-wise?
Singapore,
Or, like, manners?
also very polite as well. It's probably not a Western country, is the answer to this question, which is quite, as a Westerner, is quite sad. What are the 3 most important things you think everyone should know or learn? You can never say please, thank you, and sorry enough. Please and thank you in particular. You need to have good eye contact when you speak with people. And you should always be more...
I struggle with that. I don't like that. I don't want somebody to have good eye contact. I want you to, like, glance at me. If we're having a conversation, I'm going to look at you kind of like this, and then I'm going to, you know, say we're just, you know, talking. This is probably kind of how I'm making conversation. I'm kind of, like, looking around the room. I glance at you. When you're talking, I'm looking right at you. That's how it works. If you're talking to me, I'm staring at you. If I'm and then the second I start talking, I'm probably going to glance, you know, back and forth. And that's what everybody does, I feel.
More interested in other people than interested in yourself. What's the politest way to end a conversation you don't want to be in? If it's a group of people, it's very easy
I have to go. Bye.
just to sort of go, basically. I mean, I would sort of just say, I'll see you all later, and off you go. And the conversation can continue, or I'll be back in a minute. That's fine, even if you're not. But if you're talking with just one person, it's quite difficult. Ideally, I mean, we've all been that person at a party with no one to talk to. Nobody likes it. So try to introduce them to someone else before you exit the conversation. That's always better.
Bro, the worst is when you're trying to leave. That's why the Irish goodbye is the patent pending method, bro. You're trying to leave, and then they rope you into a conversation. And then you're talking, and I'm, like, actively walking away from them, and they kind of inch towards me, and we're still talking. And it's like, you know, let's wrap it up. And it's I'm not, like, obviously I don't want to cut the conversation just at a hard stop, but it's like, let's kind of fast track this to, like, a goodbye rather than, oh, we're just talking for the next 35 minutes.
Should you laugh if you didn't understand the joke? It is polite to give people the...
I laugh a lot when I don't hear the joke, because I'm somebody that'll be like, what'd you say? 5 times. The first time because I didn't hear you. The second time because I wasn't paying attention. The third time because I didn't hear you. The fourth time, I didn't really understand what you were saying. And the fifth time, I didn't hear you again. So I just go, huh, yeah. And I'll laugh. And that's a risky play sometimes because you kind of just do a emotional reaction off of their emotion. But, like, you could really fuck that up. You know, you don't, especially if it's like a really loud area, you don't know what they're saying. So if you're just like, oh, yeah. They're like, dude, I just told you my mom died. Oh.
Reaction they sort of want. If you understand why they think it is funny, I think it's okay to laugh. But you obviously don't want to laugh at something that you don't sort of understand in case you get asked a follow-up question, or in case it's offensive and you're actually laughing at something that's not really meant to be funny, but someone thinks it is. I always remember my late grandmother would cut out cartoons from the Times that she would find funny, and she would bring them when she would come for dinner and sort of show my parents.
Yeah, no, you give old people pity laughs, bro. Before my grandpa died, he would tell the worst jokes of all time, but I would just I would chuckle at him, you know? Because it was funny for his time. It was funny in the fucking 1940s, man. It's like, he would make a joke. It wasn't offensive, but it was something that's like, you know, it was like a joke about, he would say, you know, optimistic person says the glass is half full. Pessimistic person, it's half empty. The engineer says it's a design flaw. He would tell me that joke. That shit's not funny. That shit's not funny. That's like, and he would laugh. Like, and I would just go, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I got it. I would have to sit there and be like, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah. And then we would move on. Because I'm not going to be an ass and not laugh, but you're laughing. Well, because, you know, and I loved him for telling those stupid jokes, but it's like, they weren't funny.
And my brother and me.
Explain it. Explain the joke. What? Like when you laugh? Oh my God, that's fuck to do. What, you laugh at a joke and then they hit you with you thought it was funny? Yeah. Explain it. Why is it funny? That's a method that Brooke will do to people that make like really like just sexist jokes. You just go, explain it. Explain, why is it funny? And then they have to go, oh, because women can't drive or something like that. And then it's like, all right, now it kind of defeats the joke because it's like now you're outwardly just saying like, oh, it's funny because of this. And it's just like the most surface level lame fucking like chud joke.
And James and I didn't really find them very funny, but we sort of go, oh, that's very funny. That's excellent. And my parents just go, oh, I don't really get it. And Granny looked so upset. And I remember saying to
my granddad used to tell me Nazi stories all the time. He was actually weird, bro. What? Like he was telling you stories from the war? What do you mean?
My parents, just laugh. Just give her a little laugh. So I think sometimes it's okay to politely laugh in the interests of good manners.
There was a young lady of 18.
All right. Well, that was a fun video. Love this dude. Heard him on the radio lots of times over the year. Heard him on the radio. Who's tuning into the fucking radio anymore? Jesus.